Okay, let's go ahead and get started. This is Elliot Wave Sage. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for education and entertainment purposes only. I'll just kind of go through a market recap. It's been a while since I've been on live. I've been moving and been very busy with work and everything else. So just haven't had the time I needed to really get focused on the market like I usually do, but I have been on Twitter when I can to give you my feedback. But I could get this live stream in right now, so I decided to do that. And let's go through the market, and I'll show you where I think things are at this point, and where we could be heading. Okay, so let's just start with the SPY. So the SPY, we're looking for another 4 and 5, right? So the idea was we were actually in this like ABC and then a 1-2 and an ABC for 3-4 and then an ABC for 5, and we hit 610 right there. Boom, crash. Now that is still a possible count, but this pullback is pretty I'd say bearish and a lot of momentum behind it. So we could be in also this pattern where we actually did top here and then we made this A and B and then we're just in a flat. If it's a flat, we would expect C to pretty much rapidly decrease all the way back down to the August low and then find a pretty substantial bounce that would fail later. That's what we'd be looking for the first W wave, the W, and you get an X, and then we would just go lower, something like that. So that's possible, and we could look at the daily RSI. Nothing there yet. Pretty strong momentum. How about the weekly? Not quite there yet, but we're close. As you could see, we're close to that trend line. How about the 4-hour? The 4-hour, if it breaks that low, also. So I would say the SPY, while I show it labeled at ABC, you could still, try to make the case that it's a 3, it's a 4, and we're in 5, and we actually could get one more high next week, but then that should do it. And then this is the alternative count, something like this, and out, which means we rally tomorrow next week. So that's one possibility. Now, I don't like the divergence being erased here. That goes back to a flat where you would want the divergence erased on this leg. That's what would have happened. So that's why I'm kind of favoring the more of this flat pattern. No divergence, no divergence, and we're below this peak with 5. So that's why I favor this count. If that's the case, it should be Monday should be a bloodbath in the market. Like everybody, but Monday will be a bloodbath. If this is the count, Monday will be a bloodbath, and it will be a pretty bad day in the market. If this is the count, because this should extend, accelerate, and then finish on the lows as this plays out. Now, what's supporting this is the yen, and we've talked about this in UVIX and the VIX. All support this type of calamity. All of this supports it. So I just want to go back to the Japanese yen real quick. Let me find the Japanese yen. I have to find it. Here, a USDY yen. I think I have that somewhere. There it is. Okay. So I was charting the yen. We know that this rally was going to fail. Now we had X, we thought it could be here and here, but then it just kind of kept extending, but I think time's up here. You see this sharp decrease, and then on the daily, it does look like the daily cycle is about to break lower, indicating the yen is about to collapse, strength. And then you get this leg. Now remember what happened. This leg down was the July, meltdown and the August meltdown, right? Why would this would be the same thing? If this X is in, it's like we're back at July 11th, like all over again. And this is where we're heading. So we can time long positions for a counter trend trade, or hey, maybe it's the low here with this. This would be the timing. So since it did extend, we moved the timing up at 134.48. That's what marked the bottom before in the market. So we can watch this and see if the same thing plays out. So pretty much, if this yen is strengthening here, then I'm not interested in buying the market until the yen is in this area, just based on the last leg, this leg. Now also oil, I'll show you real quick, starting to break its pattern. Finally, every time oil breaks these massive patterns, is always led to market crashes, waterfall selling, always in its history. So this could also be a sign that says there's a much bigger sell-off about to happen as oil breaks down here. The UVIX found the support where I mentioned on my channel, on my Twitter X feed at 340. Yeah, it dipped a little bit lower, but there you go. Boom, vertical. And now we should get at least one more swing higher, but possibly much more upside to come. But we should get another like another bounce higher, because this looks pretty impulsive off of that low today. Let's go to the 15-minute. Take a look. A little bit of divergence there. So tight impulse. There's your four. Your wave 4 is right around here. So it's going to probably not go too deep, and then it should come out, and we should see this reversal pattern play out, and then who knows how high it goes after that. So that's the UVIX, and of course the VIX finished its 5 waves, and that should do it, and then we should be going, oh yeah, much higher. So that could be a 2. So the VIX could be very tempting to be long volatility if we can bleed back against these lows. It gives you a low risk, high reward setup for long vol trades. If the UVIX wants to come back down here, then why not take that trade and just put your stop at 325 and see if you can get nailed. The market gives you this gift, because if we do break this low, then of course it's extending C, and then you'll have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have to go to these lower targets here, which would also mean the market would be moving to that higher target I mentioned. So that's another clue out there we can look for to see where the market is going right now. But a lot of bearish signals playing out, and then interest rates just keep going higher. Again, dumbfounding traders, smart money, intellectuals on CNBC, but not people that follow my channel. Now, we have, looks like we had 5 here. Now, could that be a 1, 2? Let's take a look. That would be very shallow for a 1, 2. That'd be very bad for the bond market and interest rates if this is 1 and this is 2, right? Now, we could get a deeper pullback and a flat A, B, C, but 3 should be coming. It's clearly we've reversed off this bottom, right? Clearly, and what was our warning sign? The 7-year hitting the area marked the turn. And these truncated in sympathy. They all truncated, but the 7-year didn't. The 2-year was in the buy area for rates, sell area, and bonds. The 1-year also tagged it. So to me, it's clear rates want to go higher. The Fed is more hawkish all of a sudden. Talking a little more hawkish. Maybe there won't be as many rate decreases after all. Maybe they're getting us ready for what may be coming. Very interested in here how this is going to play out, because we have a connector for this 3 swing down. Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like it's real tight. I would still call it a connector here. It would be nice to get a little more upside, but once we get a connector, and then if we broke this low, then we would get much lower rates, right? So it'd be a very significant level. But right now it really isn't, because it's not, the bounce in the 1 year isn't strong enough, because it could still turn into that, and then out, and then down. So we have to watch that. This is the shorter. This is the 1 year. This is kind of what I call the Fed part of the curve. Now the longer end is different dynamic. That's a different dynamic going on. So let's go to the just show you the Dow Jones here real quick. So the Dow Jones again, looking at 5 now. Could 5 extend? Sure. It is in an area where it should bounce. And I posted this yesterday on the SPY and Qs, like, hey, if the market's going to bounce, it needs to do it now. Well, the Dow is the same thing. If it's going to bounce, it needs to do it now. Because if we keep going down, then you have to call 5 in. But right now, bulls do have hope here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you can get to 45,000, but we'll know on Monday if that's possible. The SPY showed that already. The triple Qs, unfortunately, we were looking for more upside in the cycle. Again, AB 1, AB, C 2, 3, 4, and I was looking for a pullback and higher. Maybe we won't get that. So perhaps you have your AB right here, just shallow, real, not symmetrical. I think this could be too severe for that. Let's take a look at the RSI, and you see the reset, though this one took it out. So this cycle is over. So if we were to come back and take out this high, the 5 would extend, and this would be a 1, 2. And then the ABC, scenarios negated. It's already negated. So very different. The SPY has not negated that. So tech may have peaked here. The SPY possibly could make another high. The Dow could make another high. The IWM is looking like it's peaked here. Again, it failed its bounce area today. The only thing that concerns me here, so we have we need to do a couple things. So I was looking at this as like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is too deep for 4. So could this be a 3? A WXY, right? Or something different than what I have here. Or is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Which is what I think I have. See the divergence in the 4 and the 5, the severe drop, and we're about to break it. But we haven't yet. What's interesting is you see this divergence here between this peak, and that peak. If I go to RK, there's something very interesting with RK, which tracks the Russell. The RK has 5 waves up. Here you see a race divergence. Okay, so you could say this is corrective, and it's just going to go to 0. I think when I looked at the weekly, you see the divergence. It's one cycle. So I believe you have to look at a bigger picture on this, and if you do, you label it as 5. If that's the case, you'll be looking for a very deep pullback down to 34, and then higher. And could it be to a 3, 4, 5? But maybe it could be something like this: an A, a B, and a C, and then you could go to 0, right? But whatever it is, this is telling me the Russell may be much more complicated. It may not be as simple as we think, as it seems. The Russell may be confusing here, where off of this low. I believe here, yeah, we broke the, let me see, I think this is the low. Let me go back and just double check the chart here. Yeah, this is the low. So off of this low here, we may have a complex connector here. where, again, just looking at it, where you have an A here, and then some kind of three-wave move, another wave down, and another wave up, and then down. Something crazy. So I'm going to relabel this, but what I'm trying to say is the Russell may not be as straightforward as we think. Like I said, I have it labeled this way, but it could easily be something just a little bit different. Here, let me see if I can try to do this real quick. A, B, C. So we put a B here and a C here, but really, if we look at this again, just looking at it, what if we're still in the connector of B, right? And it does something like this, and then within B, you have something like A, B, C, and then you have a W, X, Y, and then you get something like this, and then you get this. See, I'm just showing different possibilities that exist. So the Russell isn't as straightforward as the others, but it should be going lower. But RK is telling me that what happens here, when we get this big drop, there should be a pretty big counter trend rally. Whether it fails or it goes to new highs is unknown. The Qs did break this high here. I am showing it 5. We should be back into 400, easy 390, but there's a chance it could go back and we could get Moon Boy still. So my point is there's some people on the internet saying we're going all the way down to the 2009 lows. Some people say the 2020 lows, but then some people say, hey, it's just going to keep going higher. But what I'm saying is there could be a combination of both scenarios where you get 5 extends, but you get like you're up and you come back down and then you come out and then you top and then you crash later. So I keep an open mind to that possibility because there are a lot of stocks running off of the lows that look like they need more upside. That doesn't seem like it's ready for a massive meltdown all the way back down to these lower levels. Now, I mean, I could always be wrong, so I wouldn't be surprised to see more of this, but a lot of pain coming, where you come down, you kind of come up and top like that. But this kind of pain, where you correct this whole cycle here, everyone, and then you do something like that. I'm leaning a little bit this way, given some of the breakouts we saw after the Trump election, because you did see some breakouts, and those should take another leg higher, like RK, and there's some others out there. So I'm just saying, what I'm saying is you gotta understand, like, yeah, market, this will be like a crash to most people. Like if the SPY drops, let's say we just correct this part and we drop to 460, 440, that'll be like a crash. That'd be horrific for most traders and investors, this type of correction. But I think at the very least we'll get something like this. And then of course there's always the possibility of the ultimate meltdown, to get to 280 SPY. But I think you have to understand that this pullback here may actually be very viable for a final a real blown like mania mode, and then a crash. We have to understand that, but we won't know really until we get into it. But I do believe we have a massive drop coming. So that's what I see right now. But there are things out there that show that the market should go higher, but not like in the longer term. There's still cycles that still aren't done, in my opinion. Like Amazon's one of them. Tesla may be another one if it could take out that high, that recent high. But of course, it's got to take out the high. But right now, this is the count I'm going with. I do think the Russell, for now, I'll just continue to label it this way, even though it violates my RSI with the divergence. That's a violation of my system, but I will leave the count the way it is for now, and then you guys will just have to do it. But I'm not really interested in trying to trade that. I'll just leave it, and you guys can decide what you want to do. What would be better is if we could counter trend and then take this peak out and then end up in the shaded area with one more high. That would be ideal, and then I would probably be more confident that the Russell peaked and perhaps the RK as well. That would be a much better look for me. Or maybe it's more like this again, 3, 3, and then up. So that's what I'm seeing, but I wouldn't really trade any of it at the moment, not the Russell at least. So we'll see how this goes. But if it is done here and it starts to collapse, I wouldn't be surprised to see a big relief rally and some crazy formation, and then at some point later we get down to these areas eventually. But it may be toward the it may be years later as we chop around to allow a lot of the stocks to finish these cycles that just kind of broke out and got started, right? And there's a lot out there, a lot of small caps. So we just have to wait and see how this plays out. But anyway, all right, I'll go to your questions, guys, and we'll go from there. And let's start at the top like I always do. Yeah, just say a comment on SMCI. So SMCI, I don't worry about the news, right? But I look at the chart, and the chart will tell me what's going to happen to it, and what in the news itself, right? It just said it's gonna file a plan. Well, I mean that. What if the plan's rejected, right? What if the plan? It's just a plan. It doesn't mean they actually have their financial report, audited and ready to go. They just have a plan. So I don't know if the Nasdaq's going to accept that. But hey, they're trying to kick the can down the road as much as they can. Obviously, the market makers supported it. Aladdin kept it from crashing today. It should be traded well close to zero, given all the risk, event risk, and everything else, right? Fundamental risk, because if it's delisted, it's essentially zero overnight. Your money's gone forever, guys. It's gone. Your calls are worthless. Your stock can't be liquidated. It's essentially worthless pieces of paper. So it's traded $17 a share on Friday on close. What if the plan doesn't happen? Then on Monday, it's zero. You have nothing. So this is why the market is not allowing things to go to its true value, because there's an invisible hand that's supporting it, maybe hoping you'll buy, keep the money going. Maybe, who knows why? Maybe they knew the plan was coming, keep it going, keep the calls going. But at some point, it just like the KRE. Remember the KRE in March, that meltdown a couple years ago? And all those banks just went to zero overnight, which essentially traded at like $80 a share and goes to zero. Like, that's not natural moves. That's market makers not allowing the price discovery to get to where buyers and sellers are in equilibrium. That is somebody holding the market up to keep it from doing that. And all that does is hurt the average investor, because they have no idea. One day they wake up and they have nothing. And that's the thing with Aladdin is, the one thing they could do is they could manipulate price, but when the company doesn't exist anymore, well then there's nothing left. It's zero. So that's where I think Aladdin blows up, because it's great you can manipulate the price and keep it where it needs to, but once the company's bankrupt and gone, then it's zero is zero. Then somebody's left holding the bag, right? Somebody's left holding the bag, and you can't trade it anymore. It's gone. And that's these things, and if this bear market plays out, or we do get this crash, right, and we don't find that support, which I'm thinking it could be, but let's say we do get this super crash all the way down here right away, there's gonna be a lot of companies going bankrupt, guys. A lot of stocks and probably things that you love and cherish won't exist anymore, and a lot of investors will probably hold all the way to zero, because that's what they're conditioned to do, just buy and hold. The market makers keep them, and then one day you'll wake up and companies, and you're like, why didn't it? Because they just don't know. So that's going to be really terrible. But that's probably going to happen if we get this crash. All right, enough of that. Nirvan, let's go to your question. CGC, didn't they say something like I read something negative about Trump and cannabis or something, or so I don't know. I was like, oh, maybe that's going to cause a sell-off. I thought I read some negative article out there. Uh, let's take a look. So we did break that pivot. So this trade is now negated, and we will be pushing lower. But let's take a look off this low, where things stand. So I look at it from here. You could see the cycle reset on this bounce. So this is clearly bearish. I would be looking for a meltdown. So we have to look at this as a connector and as a 1-2, 1-2. So so I'll be looking at something like a 1-2 here, and this is a 1-2 now to the downside. So it looks like this descendant triangle is playing out. It's playing out here, and should lead to massive downside. And this could be predicting some really tough situation for CGC. I think it's now it's pretty obvious to me it's lower. All right, TCNNF. Another cannabis. Let's take a look how that one's doing. So that one's different. It looks like we had a buy area here that essentially went vertical on. So that one's looking a little bit better than CGC. That one's looking a little bit better than CGC. Now, if this is a flat, this should make one more low, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We need one more low. So could still make one more low, but that's a good reaction there. If it doesn't do that, then it's WXY, and it's already bottomed. It's possible it's already bottomed. It's just, if we could take back out $8, then it's obviously bottomed, and the next leg higher. But perhaps we can get this another low is what I'm thinking. This looks like a 4-wave, maybe triangle forming for one more low. Tough to say how it'll play out, but seems like this is the count for now. All right, next is SYN. SYN. Let's go to SYN here. SYN. Senior. Not sure which one of these you want. I'll let you put in the comments, Travis, what you want, and then I'll go to it. Go back to it. GM. Let's go to Donald. Your question. So let's take a look at UVIX. So UVIX bounced, and I kind of touched on it earlier. UVIX bounced where it was expected to. It seems to really be trading nicely with the yen strength, the yen cycle. Here was the buy area at 340. We hit that and went vertical today. Now we're pulling back. I would like to see, because this looks like an impulse, at least one more swing higher. That seems likely to get that. Even if this is corrective, we should get something like this. Then it could go to new lows. That if it was going to do that, but most likely, you got to watch the yen. And if the yen is strengthening, then this should continue higher. And bigger picture, we can get, I'll get rid of some of this labeling, but bigger picture here, I'm looking for a C and a 3-wave move down. And then after that, we have an A, a B, and a C. And if that's the case, we'd be looking, if again, if I just chart it the way I usually chart things, we'd be looking for $24 on the UVIX when all said and done. Pretty substantial gains. Almost seems impossible to contemplate that kind of crash could happen, but no one thought this would happen in 24 hours, right? So we just don't know how this will play out. But when this happened, this was that strength in the yen. The yen strengthened. Let me see if I can find it here on my chart somewhere here. Where was it? Down here. So here the yen, right, we'll go back in time. You see what happened here. This is what the UVIX did, went vertical. This will be the UVIX going vertical again. I'm almost certain of it. but I can be wrong. So if we believe this cycle is in at top tier, then the UVIX is an incredible opportunity to make money on this leg lower. Now, there's always a chance it's not done going higher. Like I said, I can come back up here, and we could label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, one more high. So we don't know, and if we do that, then UVIX could be under pressure, but UVIX may not make a new low and show some hidden bullish divergence. So we just you know, well, but this is playing out and should be over very shortly, even if it isn't already. And Tesla needs to take out that high to confirm more upside. If not, the more bearish scenarios in play. Again, we have 3 waves up. This was the area. Now we're pulling back, and the buy area was hit today. It was another buy here today where we bounced, and now it's the moment of truth, right? It's the moment of truth for Tesla, because either we'll make a new high, and if we do, then you have clear 5 waves up off this low, negating the bearish structure, in my opinion, and then we can look at a more bullish structure off of the low all the way back here. But if we can't, then this is in play. This is in play, and it's hard to believe, but this will be a catastrophe all the way down to $60. And that will be too, as a massive connector came to an end right here, and we'll get that. So we don't know. You just have to place your bets. Today was the day to try to place long positions, but I would definitely have your stop loss at 308. Let's say 308, because if that breaks, then we should have some kind of 1-2, 1-2 setup. It will probably be a catastrophe, as this probably comes all the way back down to 240, like pretty quickly, and everyone's trapped in the euphoria of the Trump-Musk partnership. I believe it was selling off too, because they were going to end they're ending the EV subsidy, right? That news is helping to accelerate some of this. All right, let's look at NVIDIA. I didn't really look at that today. I think it's got some earnings coming up, if I've heard it right. So again, NVIDIA was supposed to get, it's like 152. If you look, you have 3. It's almost like you need one more push higher. Again, one more push higher. I wouldn't be surprised to get one more push higher in 3 to finish it. And then that's it. And that should do it. NVIDIA is another one that shows, yes, a huge sell-off's coming in the market. It will be a crash. It will be a calamity for most traders, because they're not prepared for anything as severe that's coming. But NVIDIA shows we actually need 5. So this shows that perhaps there is no, like, you know, cataclysmic meltdown to SPY, you know, 280, not just yet. Yeah, that's coming, but maybe you'll get this, and then you'll finish it up, and then bam, then you get the calamity. So the NVIDIA is something, you know, that also shows. Now maybe you get the counter trend, and NVIDIA can make a new high here, and the SPY doesn't, and so there's always possibilities like that. But I was saying, I don't have 5 up on NVIDIA like on the Grand Super Cycle right now. I only have 3, but I think it could make one more high. All right, thanks. And let's go to AER and see what that one is doing here. AER, I would assume this is it. Short. So if this is it, we can look at it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So that looks like one cycle right here, right, of some kind. Let's look. Yeah, I mean, clearly there's your 3, there's your 5. Yeah, so So here's your pretty much a straight down crash correction. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another 1, 2 right here, right? Looks like another 1, 2 right here, but then this looks like 5 down. So let's see here. So let's go to daily time frame and take a look here. 1, 2, 3 connector, 3. Maybe it's an ABC. Yeah, probably like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I'll put the 1 there. So then here we go up in 3. So we have a wave 3 here. Let's take a look at where we are with wave 3. Took this peak out. So clearly we have a 3 and we have a lot of bearish divergence here. So it looks like this whole leg is probably coming to an end soon. Or will very soon. So we can look here, 1, 2, right? And then 1, 2. Then this is probably, so it depends where you want to put your 4. We have to take a look at the RSIs and get a clue here. 1, 2, 1, 2. So there's your 3 of 3 right there. And then you probably had this 3 here with that 4, and then now it's tough to say. So either that 5 finished like right here, and you're like this, like that, and you have like one more high. So what's clear to me, what I think is going to happen is, if I look, we haven't taken that peak out, and because of that, I can't put that 3 there. So it is going to be a 1, another 1, 2. So it'll be a 1, 2, 1, 2. So, if you're short, I don't see a good like short setup because this is like a big mess. But it definitely, I can label it in a lot of different ways to call it topped. But at some point it should end this whole cycle and pull back at least to like 76. The confirmation would be the weekly cycle break here, which it's about to do, which would give you more confidence about your short, but you haven't broke it yet. It could easily come back up and make more bearish divergence, and then you stopped out of your short. But if you could break that, then you have more confidence that the cycle is over. This cycle's over here. At least this cycle. Yeah, I should probably label that like from here. This cycle, this leg's over. So that's what I'm thinking. So I think the top's in at any moment for this, but I don't see signs that I could say definitively, yes, it's topped, like it's done. Like it could easily keep pushing a little higher. Okay, let's go back to the one I missed, SYN. SYN from Travis. And again, Travis, if you could just put in what you wanted on that. Which one? Go to the next AJ, GB 20 year. GB 20 year. Alright, so we're looking for this X. Looks like X should be done, and we're starting to get the breakout to Y. It looks like we're just starting to break out on that. And the first sign will be taken out 518. And as long as we're above 423, I would think you're starting your next wave higher. So we'll just want to get a nice good impulse off that first wave higher. Looks like in 1, 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably moving in 3 right now. So we only have 3 up here. So we want to see a fifth wave. So we'll have to wait and see if this is validated. If we could get a fifth wave, I think that validates this count. If we don't, then perhaps this isn't the right count, and it's something much different. So we'll have to just wait and see. But this is what I think I've gone with, and I'll just stick with it here. But it looks like we should get a fifth wave, and then probably a big pullback, and then out. Okay, then Johnny, let's go to yours. ACHR, Archer Aviation. So we're trying to get to this area. Let's take a look. Where did it truncate down? WXY connector, one more low. So yeah, we're almost there. I'll go back to what I had here. So I think it's just a big X, but I believe we got one more swing down. We need one more swing down like that. That's what I'm thinking. As long as we're below 488, this is what I would expect. Okay, here you go, guys. Let's look at a couple more. OKLO. Let's look at OKLO. Oklo. Oklo is in a buy area right now, but let's just make sure our because we probably had it at a different point in this. Nope, that's right. So we're good. Yeah, so it's in a buy area. It should be bouncing at any moment in a wave 3. What did these guys do? What sector is it with? Oh, power and all that. Yeah, that's probably bullish. So yeah. So there you go. So that's probably where we are. So like I said, not everything could be a bearish coming up. There probably will be sectors that will be winners, and some will be a lot will be losers. So there's 3 up and 3 down. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it's moving in 3s. Oh yeah, all the divergence erased. So it's moving in 3s. It's not moving in 5s, which is very corrective nature. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it's probably something like that. So anyway, and then BWXT. BWX Technologies. Let's see where we are with that. So we had this labeled in some kind of fifth wave top. Let's see, that fifth wave keeps extending, which is what it does in Elliott wave, theory. Has such a hard time predicting extensions, but it just keeps extending, and I think it should continue for like at least one more push higher, and then that should do it. Let's look at the divergences. Boom, divergence, divergence, divergence. So yeah, in effect, I could have it labeled off by one swing, like maybe the 3's here, the 4's here, right? I could do something like this, right? And then the top's already in. Which is probably, I bet this is probably accurate looking at the divergence. And then you got a big pullback. So something like that is what I'm thinking. All right, TLT. So TLT is tricky. Let's go first to the 30-year and the 20-year. So oops, I'll rather go to the 20-year. I think that's the TLT one. So the TLT right here, look. So you see you got this 5 waves up with bearish divergence. So we know that this cycle is coming to an end soon. It's coming to an end. And we'll get a pullback, which would be bullish for the TLT, but that will be opportunity to fade the TLT on this pullback. If it pulls back like this, we're looking for 4.4, 4.3, something like that. So that's what I'd be looking for, and then the TLT should continue lower. Let's look at the TLT now. And I don't like holding the TLT or trading it. Uh, you know, so the TLT obviously we did get the counter trend bounce, right? We got this ABC. Now we wanted the C to extend more, right, with a 1-2, but it didn't. So the market already said the cycle's done, the connector's over, and we also got through the air. We would have where it would have should have bounced, it didn't. So now you know that this cycle's done, and now the next leg lower has begun, but we need a counter trend rally. So the TLT should be due a relief rally, and it could come back to $94, $95, and then it should continue lower, eventually break in the October 23 low here, and then really, freaking out investors as that takes place, something like that. So that's the way I see the TLT is going to happen to the TLT. Okay, Victoria, Coinbase. So let's take a look at coin here. Crypto. So coin still pushing higher. Let's see here. So we wanted this one to end. It looks like we're ended here. Now, could this be 3-4? I think that's probably what I would label it as, given the strength of that move higher. We'll get this fifth wave. So we're still just continuing higher. Looks like that 4 is done. And we should be pushing higher. Of course, could always be another 1-2 and just keep going vertical. We just don't know. So I do think it's just pretty bullish. Crypto is very bullish right now. But at some point this will end. This whole cycle will end, and then you'll get a massive pullback again, right? So we'll see how this goes. But I think that's a 4 here, and it probably was a buy a day or so ago on an ABC right there. It was probably a dip buy right there. So as long as it's above 273, it should see more upside. Eventually top in this wave 3 as long as we keep that divergence. But it can easily erase divergence again and keep going much higher. We just don't know. All right, end phase. So end phase, I believe the last I saw it broke some important pivots. Again, this is another one that investors just loved so much, and it's just not working out for people. And again, people love to hold stocks until they go to zero, I guess. But here you go. We saw this nice big 3-wave pullback. And then I said this is a very important low that had to hold as we formed a connector wave, which obviously has failed. So now we have a whole new cycle lower. So if you look at horizontal support, you really don't have any significant support until $21. That's the most likely area where you'll see the cycle end for another opportunity for a major bottom. But, there's never a guarantee. So we want to see 3 waves down. So you have here, let's take a look at our cycles. So the first leg is here. Here you have the 3 waves. And then here you have 1, 2, 3. So you're probably already in the final leg lower, the capitulation wave. My guess, this is my guess. I think this is how I label it. And at some point when that impulse ends, the cycle, then it could find a low, or it could be, a bounce. And here you got a 1, 2, 1, 2. You almost took out divergence. That would have been very bearish. I think you're probably going to do that. So right now, you could label it this way as 5. If you do that, more than likely this bounce will come and fail again. Let's look at our divergences. As you can see, we haven't taken this out. This should come and take that out. So if this is 5, we'll bounce. You could bounce back to 90 even, but that bounce will fail epically. If not, it's another 1, 2 here, and we're about to have a catastrophe in this sector here. And it's like this, right? It could be this. So we don't know which, but right now there is a little bit of bullish divergence. So it could be a 5, but it could also be this. But whenever this finishes and erases the longer term divergence, then C is done. Okay, so that's where I would look at it. All right, ARC W. ARC W, I believe I have that one here. I did the RK earlier. Let's see, ARC W is another variation of that. Let's see where we are with that one. Again, 5, and we see how we broke that low here. More than likely this wave would fail. So this is telling me something also, like that break of this low, unless we erase divergence. Let's see here. You see I have 5 here. Let's go to, we have to go to the monthly cycle. So the monthly cycle shows no divergence. So that's interesting. So what I'm thinking then is just kind of tweak the label in a little bit. I probably would put, I would probably change this count, looking at it second time, something like this. And then this is a 3-wave move down. So, so we'll have to say that we're building off of this low. So this is a very important level right here, this level at 36. We took out the divergence on the weekly, on the monthly, on the daily. So it could very well be corrective, but it 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 connector, 1, 2, 3. I think the best way to label this one again is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should see. And when this plays out, if this is right, and this plays out, this will be a massive buy-in opportunity right here in the ARC complex. If this is the right count, and we see this play out like that, so we'll keep an eye on it. But I think it's, you know, like it did erase divergence a little bit, so it could be a corrective count, which would mean it would actually break this low. But I still want to label it this way for right now. But you'll have to do what's best for you. It's not clear. I don't want to label it as like a 1, 2, 1, 2. I think that's too bullish, honestly, given where we are. I think this is gonna come, but I don't think we'll see a complete like go to zero on these. I just don't think that we'll see it. I think we'll see something like this on the ARC complex, like that, and then perhaps you can get the go to zero moment, right? Then maybe you could get the go to zero moment. But I think this is where I'm thinking RK is going, something like that. That's what I'm thinking right now. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to the one I skipped over, and I'll just see if Travis is on. If not, I'll just pick one and do it, and maybe I got it right. I don't see any comments from Travis. I'm looking. So I'll just do SYN, and maybe it is the one you wanted. So I'll just go to this one. What the hell? Nah, that's a penny stock. Yeah, I'm just going to have to skip over that. If you come back on, Travis, you can Twitter me and DM it. I'll try to do it later. All right, I got through everyone's super chat. It looks like, oh, I got one more in here. UUUs. That's been a great stock that has worked out for us. And again, a lot of stocks have worked out, especially uranium sector. Let's take a look at where we are with it. Well, that was a pretty big sell-off today. Let's see what happens here. So we had this 5-wave up with the 2 down. That ended in a dip buy area. Now we came up, and I was looking for an impulse here in a 1-2. It looks like we've got like a 1-2, 1-2. So it's either a 1-2, 1-2 setup. 1-2. It could be something like this. 1-2, 1-2, and it's going to go really good. He's going to have a really good week next week, or it's a flat, and the market will give you another opportunity to buy it, which is pretty amazing. Because usually that doesn't happen, and that would be right here at 617. in this area if it's a flat. So don't know. It looks three waves. It looks like it could do the flat pattern, but I believe, and see, we broke this high. Did we erase divergence on that break? Let's look at the higher time frames. We did not. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. I mean, maybe I could label. But see, this would be the shortest leg, or maybe this. I guess it's split in hairs. I mean, you could try to label it this way, but I think that's too short for 3. So I'm just going back to, we knew the cycle ended somewhere around this area, and so we're in this kind of pullback, and either it's here or it's here, but I think it's clear where we're going. So good luck with that trade. Okay, Crypto Mickey. I'll do Bitcoin for everybody. I usually always cover Bitcoin, but yeah, Bitcoin is continuing to push higher. I was looking for this wave. I wanted this wave 4 pullback, but it may have already happened here on that 3 waves like coin. So if that's the case, that 5 should be pushing up, almost getting close to that 100,000 level, right? That magic level. So this is the count I've got right now on Bitcoin, very similar. So, and then what happens when, where are we, bigger picture, it would be this cycle would be over. So when this finishes up, then we should see a dramatic pullback, but it should stay above this 72,000. Whatever happens here, whenever this cycle ends, this cycle from this low, I wouldn't expect it to go below 72. Like, it would probably do something like that. Maybe come back to 80, 84 is what I'm thinking. And then continue higher. Or, like I've mentioned before, it's the more bearish count, where I'm wrong in this overall count, where it's actually a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if that's the case, then it would be a collapse. We still have some bearish divergence here and here. So you do have to respect that count. But I think we spent too much time consolidating for this to be a 4 wave. But some people think this could be a 1, 2, and then they would label this as like a 1. This leg is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it'd be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you come all the way back down to 43, and then come out. So I don't think that's going to happen, personally, but I think this is it for now. Something like this. Something like this is what I'm thinking. But yeah, I think it's clear that pullbacks need to be purchased. But you do got to respect, you could get caught up in a bigger sell-off if this is a 5th wave. But even if it's a 5th wave, it doesn't look finished. It looks like the 5th wave needs more upside. So, all right, let's go to TGF. Let's go to TGF here. So there's not a lot of data here. 3, it looks like it's 5 up here, and could be 5 down here. Could be a big expanded flat as well. Again, there's not enough data to know conclusively, but that looks like 5 up for sure. There's a lot of divergence here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it take a dip down to this area and then erase that divergence and then continue higher. So I'm looking for something like this. I'm looking for something like this, and you can You know, you got this 1, 2, right, and then you have another 1, 2 here. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, I guess this looks pretty good soon. All right, and maybe it's bottom, but I think it's close. Okay, anonymous. Hey, appreciate that. Wow, big super chat. Thanks for the $50, man. I really appreciate that. MicroStrategy. Yeah, I guess MicroStrategy is a good one. MicroStrategy was one that yeah, clearly I always say like I can be wrong, and that was one I was wrong, right? Because everything else was bullish in crypto, but the MicroStrategy still did not. I still was not a believer in it, but now you have to say it's just not coming back down, right? Because it's just too strong. I mean, this would be too big for a flat. So you have to just say now, could this be a blow off 5? Yeah, off of this low, absolutely. It could be that. It could easily be that. So let's look where we are, a bigger picture. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had this 3 here. So now we have to put the 4 there, and now you have the 5 there. So now we need to see if divergence is being erased. So the first sign is you don't, not on the daily. You see that divergence has not been erased. How about the weekly? Nope, divergence, divergence, divergence. So nope, still not good. How about the shorter time frames, the 4-hour on this cycle? Okay, there is no divergence. So we are still in 5. It should still push higher. But is it running on fumes? Yeah, absolutely. It's close, but it's not peaked yet. It's still going to continue higher, and that looks like a 1, 2. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So yeah, more upside. And again, if it could take out this peak, then this is a 1, 2, and then it's just going to keep going. So it is what it is. But I'll just label it the way I see it. Here it is. This is what I see. I think it still has a little more upside to create 4-hour bearish divergence here. If it can't do that, it should do that, and then we'll see what happens. Do I see it breaking down to 100? If this cycle ends at 5, it typically loses the entire wave 5, which would be here. So you at least see it come back down to 120. Right? You would at least see it come back here, even if it's going to extend higher. So yeah, I would expect it to come back to not 100, but I would expect it to come back down to this area at some point. If this is a 5. Now, if it erases divergence, then I don't think it's ever coming back to 120. It probably will not. It probably will be the next major area would be at 322. The next wave 4 or the next degree would be 3. That would be the next area. That would be a strong support. Probably never come back to 120. Then MSTX. Let's take a look at MSTX here. Defiance daily target. I never heard of this one. Okay, I'm gonna just look at it. Again, not a lot of chart data, but as you can see, you have the first cycle, a 3, a 5, and then the pullback, the 1 cycle. So this is probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. So that's your 1, 2, but then you came up and down. So maybe we're moving in 3 waves. I think that's the best way, because some of these sometimes these move in 3 waves. These ETFs like to do that. So we should get one more push higher, at least to finish Y. So it should be like boom, boom, up. So yeah, so this is predicted one more swing higher, at least before a much bigger consolidation. All right. Litecoin to coin. Let's see here. Litecoin looking at it again, had to go more bullish on it, right? Because you have a 1-2, right? 1-2, 1-2. So it's trying to bust out in its wave 3, right? And it is lagging. So it looks like another 1-2 here. Looks like the bears are losing control, right? Most of crypto, they're losing control. So yeah, this could be seeing a 3 of 3 moment at any time. I would just if this chart is right, as long as you're above $70, I would expect it to continue higher, but it needs a big move higher. I think it's coming based on this chart, right? Because it came to the moment of truth, right? We got close to this. Now breaking this low would have been catastrophic, and it just it wasn't. It stayed supported. Here it looks like a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Yeah, I mean I could be a little more conservative and just call at least like one cycle here, like that. Okay. Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash bullish 1-2, 1-2. Now this could be a 3-4, and I'll just label it like that, a 3-4, something like that. Again, upside, there's really no reason to get cute. Sell it. You should just be, if these are wave 3s that are about to hit, there's no reason to sell. You just need to hold tight. You just need to like just hold it and go trade something else for the next 6 to 8 months. I mean seriously. I mean this is where traders lose a lot because they overtrade and overthink these things. But I believe that it's pretty clear the path in crypto is bullish. So yeah, so there you go, and that looks like here a 1, 2. Something like that. That's what this whole count looks like to me. And again, this could be another 1, 2. So we'll have to just wait and see. HUT. HUT is still pushing higher. Probably that 5th wave is here. Probably put the A there, the B there, and now you have the C. It looks like that Y almost is finished, but let's look at the divergence. We didn't take it out, so we're still in Y. And 1, 2, 3. So we have a different structure here. We have WX structure here, WXY. So you have this WXY, and then in this you have a WXY. So yeah, probably just like that other one we saw, like another push higher should be coming. All right, Indo. So I warned people about Indo because of the oil price of oil. It's trading, correlating more with the price of oil now. We've seen a shift in its behavior. So until oil hits $56, I think Indo is under pressure, and I would not expect much from any that stock until oil hits the buy area. Now at some point it will, and then that will be that. So let's take a look here. So again, count 4, a 5, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So we're in the last leg lower, just like oil. So probably got another push coming, and that's a lot of capitulation right there, but some bullish type. We have to go to the higher time frame. Yeah, so yeah, it's still got more downside, but I think it's honestly it's when oil bottoms, then this should be bottoming. You could still see more like consolidation in this wave 4 and get 5 a little later. So, but it looks like a lot of the meat of the move is over. So this is just going to be like a bottoming process now. It should be. And then Wolf. Let's see here, Wolf. I am saying, guys, with these cryptos, you really just need to hold them, right? I mean, there's really. Let's take a look here. So we do have that divergence. and the divergent. So Wolf doesn't look good. It's never looked that healthy. Now this wave 3 never really materialized. So give it the look of the this could be too bearish of a view to have it come back to 244. So I'm going to take a more bullish interpretation of where we are, and you'll have to decide what you want to do. But let me see here. Yeah, see, I'm going to take a more bullish interpretation and look at it this way. Because the reason is we never got that wave 3, like, you know, it doesn't have the right look in the RSI. And so given that here, so we could still see a pullback to 557, and then we'll see if it can come out. I bet it's going to come out of this. Now, MIGI, let's see here. So this one, let's take a look. We had this one too. Let's look at what's going on here. So the good thing is you took the high out, confirming the low, 5 up here, 1, 2, 3 down. We have to go to the 45, no divergence, so that's probably the bottom or close to it. And you see the 5 and 4 and 5. So yeah, so to me this is in another 1-2 setup, 1-2, 1-2 setup. It should be coming out. As long as it stays above 141, this is the count on that. And then LTCN did, you know, get sort of in our buy, kind of, you know, could have stopped you out. Now we have to take the more bullish interpretation instead of the 3 and 4 here. We're going to look at it as something like a 3, 4, 5 coming out, and then this is a 1, 2. I think that's the right interpretation of it. And then out. And again, there's no, I would just kind of be sitting tight. As long as it stays above 1348, it should just hopefully keep grinding higher for you. Your erasing divergence on each of these swings. Here, you erase divergence. It reset the whole cycle. So again, this is the look. This is what I like to go with, something like this, and we'll see what happens as this pulls out. And BCHG almost hit the buy area right here, and it's starting to come out. It looks like it's again, this could be too bearish. It could be a 1-2, 1-2 here, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look. You could say, so this is tough. I could do something like this. Yeah, I think this is what I'll go with. And see here, you got some. This one doesn't have shows like a good bottom. So yeah, this one could take another swing lower potentially. So let's get rid of that because of that break right there. That would see 623 if it does that. So something like this is what I'm thinking. This is some kind of connector, come back down, and then come out. That's what I'm thinking. You know, could it have truncated? It's again, my system isn't always perfect, so there is a chance because it did go deep enough between the 4 and the 2 that the 2 is in. But I'll just go with my system for now. It still shows that there's another push lower on this one, even though it's different than the others. Again, thanks for the big super chat. Okay, back to TBF. Oh, gotcha. TBF. Okay. TBF, pro shares short 20-year Treasury. This is like, I guess, the opposite of the TLT. Clearly bullish divergence. Clearly, like this very beautiful impulse off the bottom there, right? I mean, I mean, perfect impulse. And now we need to see. Now, see what's interesting is you got that lower low right there. So we did show that we need a counter trend rally in treasuries, right? So perhaps you'll get that little dip back to 1985. So that would be a good long opportunity here, right here. So maybe you get that counter trend rally and the TLT, and then this dips, and then boom, comes out. I want to keep an eye on that myself, that one. Okay, thanks again, Amit. Rivian. Let's see, how's that one doing these days? Haven't looked. We used to always get asked about these guys a while, and then it's kind of don't get asked a lot about Rivian anymore. I think I warned people not to chase it on that one dip buy. Here it is on that fifth leg. So we're getting there. We're almost back in the area I want to see. So we're close here. So we're getting there. Almost there. Want to break this low, and then of course there is divergence. But see, we don't have a good chart to do that. But at least you want to have this come down and take this out, take all that out. So more downside. More downside should be coming. And again, chart pattern traders, maybe you could convince yourself you see like a bearish continuation pattern right here. Right? Isn't that kind of a bearish continuation pattern that's about to break down? All right, next, another super chat. Thanks again. Total 3. Let's go to total 3 here. Total 3 took out the high. I think we had this finish in a fifth wave, right? And big, look at all that divergence. So yes, this looks like a fifth wave, but the good thing is if it's 5, that means it should pull back and go higher. But it doesn't look like it's finished yet. It looks to me incomplete. Probably put the 1 there. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. So it still has more upside. The 3 could be in something like that. So yeah, we're getting close to the top. So maybe what we're seeing, and if this is right, then crypto would see that bigger pullback in Bitcoin. Matching the indices pullback. But again, this is a pretty big decline for wave 4. Very big. You would have expected it here. So if that's the case, again, could be 3 connector and then even 3 up and come up. So like, I still want to be careful. I would never like short it, I think, but I wouldn't be surprised if it just extends higher and takes a peak out and it just keeps going. All right, Alwyn, let's go to your question. NVTS. Oh, okay. Second part. Sorry, go back to Anonymous Sage. Bitcoin, do you see the bull run ended, or do you think it can go much higher? I think if we could, once we know it's not a 4 and a 5 on Bitcoin on the larger time frame, then I think it's going to go much higher than that, because it'll be a wave 3 of a grand super cycle, and that means it should be an equal of intensity and magnitude and like shock and awe as it was in 2017, even more than that by definition. So that wouldn't be enough to do that. You would need, what price would shock you and you tell me there's no way it will ever get to? My guess would be if I said, oh yeah, I'll go to 700,000, you'd probably be like, no, that's the type of price I think it would be running to, something crazy like that. So I think You know, so I think it's if it's going to top out, if Bitcoin's going to top out in a wave 5, if you believe that this is a 4 and a 5, it needs to really top out right around here, 91, 92. Maybe it could tag 100, but it needs to top out here. If we could push to 120, 130, then this is a wave 3 of 3 grand super cycle, and we have something like this. I'm sorry, back, but this was the 3 of 3 right here. This 3 of 3, where we went from basically 1,000 to 19,000. We're gonna have some kind of something like that's gonna happen, and we just are really just getting started. So that's what I would think. That's why I'm like, you really don't want to get too cute. Like, oh, I want to get in and out and trade it and time. Like, you're gonna lose your position. Like, honestly, if it's a wave 3 of 3, you really don't want to trade. You just want to hold your position and do something else for 6 to 8 months. I'm just saying. If it's a wave 5, right, it's gonna pull back, but it will be supported, and then it will come back out of that because it's 5 up. We've negated the flat. So that's how I look at crypto right now. That's my view on that. All right, back to the NVTS. NVTS here. Semiconductor. I do not like any semiconductors. I think they're all got a big leg lower coming. This is obviously one of them. There's really I'm not really interested in buying any semiconductors, and I haven't been for a while. So right here is 5 down and a connector, right? Now you're going back down again, and clearly it looks like it's more downside, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe yeah, so you don't even have a way. You're still in maybe another 1, 2. So I have us as like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wouldn't put a 3 there because you have an erased divergence, so you probably have another 1, 2 coming and down like that. All right, that's an easy one. And then next is ASTS. Oh, the Space Mobile one. Space Mobile is in a buy area at the moment. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, see that erasure divergence? That's probably the low right there. So just kind of an ugly shakeout, but it's still in the buy area. And it's actually a pretty low risk, high reward trade right now. Setup, if this is right. If it fails here, then this is a connector, and then it will take another leg lower, which it can do, and that would bring it to 1198. So hard to say where it's going to go, but as long as it's above, you know, $20, it should. This is still possible. This structure that I have shown. Okay, good luck on that. GLD and silver, yeah, they're showing buy opportunities. At least gold did, gold, but not silver yet. But gold shows a dip buy opportunity, I believe. Let's take a look. Yeah, see in the buy area. In the buy area was created. What this is the connector. 1, 2, 3 connector down. So it's a buy here, but it's a I don't have it charted, but it's a wave 4 in gold right now. Gold is in a buy area in a 4 for one more high. And the reason we have that, it's been erasing divergence, but now it's finally, I think, coming to the end of the major cycle. But probably get one more high out of it, and this would be the place for it to turn. Silver still looks like it needs more downside. And again, here's my target at 28, and this could be a big 1, 2 in a crash correction if this can continue like this. Ideally could even hit 26. correcting this whole thing in one big crash. Now, there's always a possibility that it bounces here, right? And then it goes down even lower, right? So it could do that. Now, if it bounces early, then there's a good chance that this bounce will fail and will go lower later. Okay, and then this is just 5 down, and then A, B, C. So we'll have to wait. I think we'll know next week what's going to happen with this one, with this setup, or not. Next is Joe's AAOI. Let's go to AAOI. Applied Optoelectronics. All right, so that one's working out like we had hoped. Let's take a look. We had this 1-2 setup. Let's check out the cycles. We got to go to the daily cycle. I'm going to put, just for the simplicity, I'll put the 1 here. That's probably the right look of it. And then we're in this 3. We took this out. We haven't taken this out yet. So it looks like there's definitely more upside. Looks like we need, and we're still in the wave 3 mode on this pullback. It's probably a dip buy opportunity taking shape here. Right here was probably the dip buy today for 5. Or if you're lucky, it's another 1-2. But it should continue a little bit higher and then top out, right, for a bigger pullback. Yeah, I think we pretty much called this one pretty accurate. So there we go. All right, it stayed up after a big jump, and I'm looking for a re-entry point. The re-entry point would have been today. I think it's going to be a shallow wave 4, given where we are here in the cycle here, and so the dip buy probably was today right there. That if I was trading it, I would have bought the dip today and tried my luck at the casino today at it. I would have said, "Hey, today's the day to buy it. Let's see if I get this 5th wave," because you don't want it deeper, because then it's not the right structure anymore. So this is the day. This would be the time to do it right here, because you see you have the 3 waves, boom, and it's about the equal distance. So that's the re-entry. Now, if when this 5th wave finishes, you may get a better re-entry point at 23 for more upside in a 1-2-1-2. But there's no guarantee. This could extend, erase divergence, and then the market leaves you behind. We just don't know how it'll materialize. All right, another big super chat. Let's go to that one. DXYZ. Okay, that's I know DXY. I don't know the Z one. Okay, DY Destiny Tech. All right, so let's take a look. Higher time frame, big pullback, double bottom. So when I see a chart like this, I always like to just label it from the low, and just label the cycle we're in. And I try to guess. You have 3 up here, and then down. So it's corrective. It's corrective cycle. So and this actually looks like 5 down off the low. So I mean, if I was doing this, it looks like to me you have some kind of ABC like look, but could be take another leg higher. It can. So unfortunately, we just don't know. This is a 3-wave move up. This looks like 5 down with no divergence though. Let's go to the 15-minute. Yeah, no divergence. So it's in a tough spot. The market hasn't decided if it wants to push it down or take another so it's kind of a 50-50 area. If we break back below 25, sorry, 26.65, Then the B is in. It's going all the way down to the new C. If we can break higher, then we'll actually take a whole nother leg higher in this, and B will come back up to these areas. Palantir is in this blow off top mode. Still in the sell area, just super extended. Fifth wave. See, still got the divergence. So again, it's just you know, people just they've thrown all caution to the wind, right? This is what happens in blow off tops. So there we go. There we go. So it's could be over at any moment, at any second. But good luck timing that short. TMF, I'm not interested in buying that. No way. I mean, there is a relief rally coming, so maybe as a scalp play, you could try to play that in this bounce. It should be bouncing, but the trade's over here. This is where the move ended. We never got any further extension because the rates truncated once the rates hit. And really, actually, it hit this smaller target area, but now it probably will never reach these areas anymore. We just have basically a connector wave that is going to fail here. So this was just some kind of ABC connector wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's over here. So we have to just kind of go back. And 1, 2, 3. So this is due a counter trend bounce though. So so look, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Let's do a bounce. It could bounce back up to 54 even. But that bounce should fail spectacularly. It should fail. Something like that. IONQ, let's take a look at that one. I don't think my chart is up to date on that one. Let's see. So WXY. Yeah, there's your B right there. There's your C. There's your X. So yeah, this should be coming to an end pretty soon, and I actually do think it will come back to these lower areas at some point. Yeah, it's in the sell area. So it's in the sell area, and can it, you know, again, like Palantir, you know, we just don't know how, like from a blow off top standpoint, how crazy it's gonna get. But it's looks like it's starting to try to finish everything up here. Something like that. All right. Thanks again for the big super chats. Mara, how has that one been doing? Pretty good, right? So we knew we had this 5 up and was like, okay, here's the 4 and the 5. We hit 15. Now I was looking for, you know, we could have bounced and failed for a double correction because this was just so quick. But unfortunately, market did not give you that, so we just gave the 2 in early. And now we're pulling up, and it looks like we have another 1, 2 here with the almost have an overlapping wave. It's pretty severe to be a 4. I mean, you could say it's a 3, 4, 5. I mean, I'll just label it like this for now. But it's, yeah, it's coming off this low here. Let's just make sure it's not a trap of some kind. A. That it could be a, there's a possibility it could be a big trap, but I don't think it's going to be given crypto. But you know, it could turn into something like if it can't make this fifth wave, then it's a trap. Like if it once it makes this fifth wave, then this is negated, this trap. But even if it's this trap, it's still not a massive opportunity to buy it. It's just we need that fifth wave confirmation. We need the fifth wave. We need the fifth wave. If we don't get that fifth wave, then you have to watch the trap I just showed you, and we'll come back down to this lower area down here, and perhaps that's a Bitcoin making a wave 5 and not a 1-2. So, uh, so I think I'll just label it this way for now, and see if we get this fifth wave. If we get the fifth wave, then I think it's pretty good that you can get like a 1, a 2, and then come back out, something like that. But there's always a possibility it's more bullish, like a 1-2, 1-2, and it just moons. But I don't see like trade setup because if it is a trap one, then more than likely Bitcoin is actually in that fifth wave I was mentioning, and not in a 3 cycle of a grand super cycle. All right. Okay, so I think I covered everything, all my super chats, and I've been on for a little bit. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut off here. I just wanted to go ahead and pop on and do this while I had some time. And if I have more time this weekend, I'll come back on if you miss me. But it was good. I do think the market is got a big sell-off coming at any moment. It may have already started and people don't realize it yet. And you watch my beginning of my video, you'll understand that. But I do think there are some stocks out there that show that perhaps, yes, we'll get this huge sell-off, but perhaps it will be supported, and then we get more upside, and then we top, later, later in the next year or two, and then we do the big crash later. Again, this would feel like a huge crash, like if the SPY drops from where it is all the way down to 460, 440. If it does that, that will be a massive crash for people. But then that could just become, again, a wave 5 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which I'm kind of thinking that may happen, which is a kind of a hybrid between Moonboy and Super Crash, right? That's the hybrid solution. But we'll see it emerge as this plays out, if this is the count. So we'll have to wait and see the market, but I believe it's very dangerous times for long traders and buy and hold investors, because there is a chance they may not recover like I think it could here and extend, and it just collapses all the way back to my target would be 280 SPY for the grand super cycle reset, and it could even go even lower, as low as 180, worst case scenario. So that would be the ultimate death blow to the market. But the 5 could still extend. The party could keep going for a little bit longer. But I do think you got this big pullback happening at any moment.